You can do thousands of crunches every day. You can starve yourself. You can push yourself to the limit in the gym, and your belly still won't go away. Why? Because you're fighting the wrong enemy. Most people think belly fat is just stored energy, something you can simply train away. But that's exactly the misconception. The fat you can touch, soft, movable, visible, is not the real issue. The real danger lies deeper, invisible, a type of fat you can't grab. It sits between your organs, presses against your liver, disrupts your pancreas, and puts your heart under constant stress. This fat is called visceral fat. And this is where it gets serious. You can look slim, thin arms, a narrow face, a normal physique, and still be dangerously overfat on the inside. This condition has a name, TOFI, thin outside, fat inside. It is often overlooked and, in many cases, more dangerous than traditional obesity. But here's the good news. As dangerous as visceral fat is, it responds very quickly, if you know how. There is a kind of biological code that specifically targets this type of fat, and that's exactly what we're going to look at now. In this video, I'll show you a concrete protocol inspired by research from Japan, a specific plant pigment, a certain compound found in tea, and a simple 75% rule for movement. Combined, this approach has been shown in studies to nearly cut visceral fat in half in just 8 weeks. So, forget the usual methods for a moment. No endless crunches, no pointless overtraining. Just listen for a second. Because before you can change anything, you need to understand what you're dealing with. Visceral fat is not the same as the fat under your skin. The fat you can grab on your arms or stomach is subcutaneous fat. It's passive, a storage system. Like an account where energy simply sits, visceral fat works very differently. It's active, almost like its own organ. It produces inflammatory substances, interferes with your hormonal balance, and throws your metabolism out of sync. And that's exactly what drives insulin resistance, and many of the most serious health problems overall. Don't think of visceral fat as normal body fat. Think of it as a silent intruder that has settled deep inside your body. It doesn't sit under your skin. It wraps itself around your organs, your liver, your stomach, your pancreas, and it feeds on exactly what harms your body, inflammation. The key question is, do you have it? Do a simple test. Stand up and press on your stomach. If it feels soft, squishy, and movable, then it's mostly subcutaneous fat, the kind you can see, but that is less harmful to your health. But if your belly pushes outward, almost as if it's inflated from the inside, and it feels hard, firm, and tight, then there's a high chance you're dealing with visceral fat. That firmness comes from fat pressing outward against your abdominal wall from the inside. It's a clear signal that something isn't right internally. So, how do you get rid of it? Not with random effort, but with a clear strategy. A 3-step attack. You cut off its supply, disrupt its enzymatic processes, and force it to break down. The first step starts with your diet, but not in the sense of just eat more vegetables. That's too simplistic. The real key is understanding the root cause. Visceral fat often develops when your body is running in a constant state of excess. Too much energy, not enough balance, and this leads to oxidative stress. Think of your cells like an engine that's constantly running at full throttle. At some point, damage occurs, buildup, wear, and tear. That's the rust inside your body. And visceral fat thrives in exactly this environment. It feeds on this internal rust and expands within it. If you want to get rid of it, you have to target that root issue and reduce this internal rust. And this is where carotenoids come into play. These are the natural pigments found in plants. The bright orange in carrots, the rich red in tomatoes, the deep green in spinach. These colors are not just visual. They serve a specific function in your body. A double-blind study from Japan looked exactly at this. One group of people simply increased their intake of carotenoid-rich foods, especially carrots and cabbage, over a period of 8 weeks. No extreme dieting, no drastic measures. And the effect was clear. These plant compounds neutralized free radicals, the unstable molecules that damage your cells and create this internal rust. At the same time, they influenced processes in the body, Mechanisms that store fat were downregulated. Mechanisms that burn fat were activated by turning on the genes that burn fat, and they turning off the genes that store fat. The result was clearly measurable: less visceral fat. Not through restriction, not through force, but because the body returned to a state where it could function properly. More color on your plate, less burden inside your body. Here is your protocol, and it's simpler than most people think. You need to eat the rainbow, but not the artificial version from candy. Real food. Sweet potatoes, bell peppers, spinach, squash, carrots, anything with strong natural colors. The moment your food is mostly beige, bread, pasta, crackers, you're giving the problem exactly what it needs. Bright, vibrant colors, on the other hand, work in your favor. The distinction is that clear. Now, let's move to the second lever: what you drink. There is a specific drink that acts like a key in your body, especially for your fat cells. You've probably heard that green tea helps burn fat. Many people dismiss it as a myth. It's not, but only if you understand what's actually happening behind it. Green tea contains a high concentration of polyphenols, specifically catechins. The most important one is EGCG, and this is where it gets interesting. Think of your fat cells as rooms with a locked door. Under normal conditions, that door stays shut. Catechins target exactly that point. They act like a tool that unlocks the door. This stimulates your nervous system and increases fat burning, but that's only half of the effect. At the same time, they influence a second mechanism. They inhibit an enzyme called lipase. Lipase is the enzyme that processes dietary fats, so your body can actually absorb them. When you drink green tea rich in catechins, something crucial happens in the background. It's as if you're setting up a checkpoint in front of your gut that says, stop. Not all of this is getting through. Or, more simply put, part of the fat doesn't even make it through. There is data on this as well. In another randomized, double-blind, placebo-controlled study, it was shown that drinking catechin-rich green tea over a period of 12 weeks significantly reduced visceral fat. But this is exactly where many people go wrong. The bottled sweetened green tea from the supermarket or gas station won't help you. On the contrary, it's basically sugar water and puts additional strain on your liver instead of supporting it. What you need is matcha or sencha. The difference is crucial. You're consuming the entire tea leaf, not just an infusion. That means you get a much higher dose of catechins compared to a regular tea bag. And then there's another factor: the combination. The caffeine in the tea and the catechins work together, not separately, but as a unit. Think of it like two gears that interlock. The caffeine gets your system moving, and the catechins ensure that the energy can actually be used. Only together do they create the full effect. And now we come to the point that makes all the difference: movement. Through diet, you can lose weight, no question. If you eat less, your body will become lighter. But this is where studies show an important distinction. While diet reduces the body as a whole, exercise specifically targets visceral fat. The question is, what kind of exercise? Do you need to push yourself to marathon-level endurance? No. In fact, that can backfire because chronically elevated cortisol levels can make the situation worse. Do you need to train extremely heavy and completely exhaust yourself? Not necessarily. What's really interesting comes from research. A meta-analysis including a total of 117 studies examined this exact topic, and in addition, there was an older study that tested a very specific training protocol. The participants simply cycled for 45 minutes, twice a week. No daily training, no extreme workload. But the key factor was intensity. They didn't train lightly. They trained at about 75% of their VO2 max. After 2 months, and this is where it gets interesting, hardly anything had changed on the scale. That's exactly why the number on the scale is often misleading, because even though that number barely moved, their visceral fat dropped by 48%. Nearly half of that dangerous belly fat was gone in just 2 months, with only 2 workouts per week. On top of that, their insulin sensitivity improved by 41%. That's essentially a reversal of prediabetes. But what does 75% intensity actually mean? You don't need lab equipment or complicated measurements to figure this out. There's a simple method: the talk test. If you're moving and can easily sing along to a song, you're going too easy. That's not enough. If you're pushing so hard that you feel nauseous and can't get a single word out, you've gone too far. That's the anaerobic zone. The right intensity is right in between. Here's the guideline. You're in the right zone when you can still speak in full sentences, but you notice you're slightly out of breath. It should feel like you've just walked up a few flights of stairs. You can talk, but it takes effort. That's the zone. That's where visceral fat is targeted most effectively. And now, we come to the point where most people fail. When it comes to belly fat, many people have the same instinct. Eat less, keep cutting more and more. They drastically reduce their calories, sometimes down to 500 a day. They try OMAD, 1 meal a day, often without doing it properly, or they fast for several days without preparation. The problem is, your body won't go along with that forever. Research shows that pure calorie restriction eventually hits a limit. At a certain point, your metabolism slows down to protect you. Your body interprets this as a state of starvation and responds accordingly. It holds on to fat instead of releasing it. Exercise works differently. A recent study in the British Journal of the Sports Medicine shows that the effect on visceral fat is dose-dependent. In simple terms, the more you move, the more you reduce. No upper limit was found in the study. If you move a little, you lose a little. If you move a lot, you lose a lot. And unlike dieting, there is no classic plateau. The takeaway? Starving yourself is not the solution. Instead, you want to supply your body with nutrient-dense foods, carotenoids, proteins, and then use movement to create the necessary deficit. Let's turn this into a practical plan you can start implementing right away. Step 1. The color check. Look at your plate. If it's mostly brown, skip it. Add 1 serving of deeply colored vegetables to every meal. Carrots, spinach, peppers. That's your protective layer. Step 2. The liquid lever. Replace your second coffee with matcha green tea. No sugar. You can add a bit of lemon juice to improve absorption, but otherwise keep it clean. This helps you target the lipase enzyme. Step 3. The 75% strategy. You need cardio. Yes, people say cardio kills gains. Classic bro science. But for visceral fat, that doesn't apply. Aim for 3 to 4 sessions per week, about 45 minutes each. Whether you cycle, run, row, or walk briskly uphill, doesn't matter. What matters is the intensity. Use the talk test. If you're not slightly out of breath, you're not in the right zone, and nothing will happen to your belly fat. In the end, one thing matters most. Consistency beats extremes. The best workout is not the one that theoretically burns the most calories, but the one you'll still be doing 3 months from now. If you don't feel like running, don't force yourself. Go for a walk with a backpack. Go swimming. What matters is that your heart rate goes up. Visceral fat is not something to take lightly. It drives many of the chronic diseases we're dealing with today. At the same time, your body is incredibly adaptable. It wants to recover, but it needs the right signals. Stop starving it. Give it the right nutrients, especially the right plant compounds, and get it moving regularly at the right pace. If you enjoyed this video, I'll see you in the next one.